Commander Ethan Drake arrived at the Archeron Combat Academy, an interstellar training ground for the galaxy's elite warriors. Species from dozens of star systems, each stronger, faster, or smarter than the last, had trained here, and none had ever impressed the faculty of veterans and champions. Ethan was human, Earthborn, physically average by alien standards. But he carried something more dangerous: cunning, adaptability, and the human drive to endure no matter the odds. The alien instructors laughed when they first saw him. "You? Train here? You'll break in a week," said Instructor Valric, a four-armed Valorian champion. Ethan smiled faintly. "I won't break. I'll adapt." And that was the first thing the galaxy's strongest fighters underestimated. Humans trained differently. While aliens relied on brute force precision or psychic enhancements, Ethan relied on creativity and improvisation. He used standard combat dummies, but combined them with environmental hazards, overhead conduits, energy panels, and gravity wells. He sparred with multiple drones simultaneously, using misdirection and strategy rather than raw power. He studied alien physiology, learning weaknesses and tendencies, exploiting them safely during training. By the end of the first day, aliens were watching in stunned silence. Their strongest fighters, who had never seen defeat, were beginning to realize that human ingenuity could rival their centuries of training. Among the spectators was Selena Vey, an alien princess known for her fascination with unusual phenomena. She had been sent to observe Ethan's progress. At first, she laughed at the humans' unconventional methods. "Fragile species," she muttered. "Do you really think he can endure our training?" Hours later, she leaned forward, intrigued. Ethan's movement patterns, improvisation, and endurance were reshaping her understanding of humans. When faced with multiple opponents, he did not panic. When hit by energy blasts, he adapted instead of retreating. When trapped, he engineered an escape that alien strategists had not predicted. By evening, the princess was no longer laughing. She was curious, fascinated, and quietly admiring. The alien instructors whispered among themselves, "He's human. He shouldn't survive this." Yet Ethan survived, adapted, and improved. Humility, persistence, and ingenuity were weapons the galaxy's strongest fighters had overlooked, and he wielded them masterfully. Selena's eyes met Ethan's across the training floor. He noticed her gaze but didn't break focus. There was respect, a flicker of amusement, and something deeper, the spark of human courage that the galaxy had long underestimated. HFY had begun, humans rewriting expectations in front of the most elite warriors in the galaxy. The next morning, the arena's gravity field intensified. Alien instructors tested students with extreme conditions, shifting gravities, unpredictable energy traps, and multiple simulated opponents. For centuries, the galaxy's strongest fighters had dominated such challenges without breaking a sweat. Ethan Drake, human, stood in the center, smiling faintly. "Let's see what you've got," he muttered, adjusting his gloves. The first challenge involved 5 combat drones, each faster and stronger than a human could naturally survive. The aliens expected Ethan to fall within minutes. Instead, he adapted. He baited the drones into colliding with each other. He used reflective surfaces to redirect energy blasts. He relied on agility, timing, and human creativity instead of brute strength. By the end of the first hour, every instructor and trainee was silent. Even the most skilled alien combatants watched in disbelief. "Is that even possible?" whispered Instructor Valric, a Valorian champion known for patience and precision. "Yes," Selena muttered under her breath. "He's human, and is doing exactly what we thought impossible." Amid the grueling trial, Ethan maintained a quiet humor. When one drone cornered him, he dodged and quipped, "Careful, you'll trip your own wires." The aliens blinked. Humor? Mid-training? From a species they thought fragile? Selena's lips curved into a faint smile. This human wasn't just surviving. He was reshaping alien expectations through ingenuity and confidence. By the second hour, the galaxy's strongest fighters began to take notice. Tavrik, a four-armed Valorian, paused mid-strike, unsure how to counter Ethan's unpredictable moves. Lyra, an agile psychic alien, frowned, realizing that predictive powers were ineffective against Ethan's improvisation. Drelk, The armored brute simply stopped attacking, his pride preventing him from striking a human who had already outsmarted him. The arena had never seen such silence from elite fighters. They had expected to dominate. They had expected the human to fail. Instead, he was teaching them a new standard of skill, ingenuity, persistence, and adaptability. Selena stepped closer to the observation deck, her amber eyes fixed on Ethan. "Oh, fascinating," she whispered, almost herself. "He's not stronger than them, not faster, and yet he's proving more effective than any of them. His mind is his weapon." Ethan noticed her gaze and gave a small nod, acknowledging her presence without losing focus. Selena's admiration grew, not just for his skill, but for the human spirit he embodied. Courage, cleverness, humor, and perseverance were qualities that transcended species. HFY wasn't theoretical anymore. It was visible in every dodge, every feint, every clever maneuver. By the end of the day, the galaxy's strongest fighters were no longer seeing Ethan as fragile. They were seeing him as a force of ingenuity, resilience, and inspiration. Selena leaned back, whispering to herself. "I laughed at him at first, underestimated him, and now he's changed everything." Even the instructors, who prided themselves on centuries of experience, were forced into silence. The human had done what they never expected. He had commanded respect without striking a single decisive blow, simply through creativity, endurance, and intelligence. Later that evening, after the trials, Ethan and Selena spoke privately. "You've done more than survive today," Selena said softly. "You've rewritten what these aliens think about your species, and about humans in general." Ethan shrugged. "I just do what I can. Adapt, survive, improve. It's what humans do." Selena's eyes gleamed with admiration. "Courage, cleverness, and humor. You have all three. You've turned the arena into your own stage. And somehow, you've made them silent." Ethan smiled faintly. "I guess humans are often underestimated." Selena's soft laugh carried across the chamber. "Yes, that you are. And that makes you extraordinary." HFY was alive. Humans had changed the way the galaxy's strongest fighters perceived them, not through brute strength, but through intelligence, heart, and ingenuity. The arena was set for the ultimate challenge. Ethan Drake had already surprised the galaxy's strongest fighters and instructors with his ingenuity, resilience, and humor. Yet the final test promised to push him to the absolute limit. The Council of Champions, elite warriors who had never lost a trial, convened. Each was a living legend. Tavrik, Valorian brute of unmatched strength. Lyra, psychic strategist capable of predicting moves before they happened. Drelk, armored powerhouse with near-impervious defenses. Zyra, swift and deadly, moving faster than most eyes could follow. Vorin, tactical genius and coordinator of elite strikes. The arena quivered as the champions took their positions. Spectators, nobles, ambassadors, and seasoned warriors whispered with anticipation. Few believed a human could last a single round, let alone face all five. Ethan stood calmly, taking a deep breath. "All right," he murmured. "Let's see how unpredictable I can be today." The champions struck in perfect synchrony. Tavrik's strike shook the ground. Zyra's blades blurred in arcs. Lyra predicted every subtle movement. Drelk's armor made him nearly unstoppable. Vorin coordinated attacks with deadly precision. For most, this would have been the end. For Ethan, it was an opportunity. He moved differently than expected. Not faster, not stronger, smarter. Tavrik's brute force was redirected using momentum and the arena's obstacles. Zyra's lightning-fast strikes were countered with feints and misdirection. Lyra's psychic predictions were neutralized by unpredictability. He used pauses, delays, and odd patterns. Drelk's armor was a liability when environmental hazards were exploited. Vorin's coordination failed when Daniel outmaneuvered multiple attacks simultaneously. The crowd, which included the galaxy's finest warriors, fell into stunned silence. No human had ever survived this long against champions of this caliber. Selena watched, eyes wide. His actually doing it. His rewriting what it means to be a fighter. Even under constant assault, Ethan found room for humor. As Zyra lunged and missed, he quipped, "Careful, you almost gave me a paper cut." The arena erupted in murmurs. Apex fighters had never heard such nonchalance from a competitor mid-battle. Selena couldn't help but smile. Humor, courage, and creativity, the trifecta of human unpredictability, were rewriting the narrative. By the third hour, the champions paused. Not because they were defeated, but because they could not predict or overpower this human without compromising honor. Tavrik lowered his fists. He is not what I expected, he muttered. Lyra blinked. He is beyond prediction, beyond expectation. Droke shook his massive frame. Our pride forbids striking further. We cannot dishonor ourselves by defeating him unfairly. The arena had never experienced silence like this. The galaxy's strongest fighters, warriors who thrived on dominance, were forced to recognize human ingenuity and resilience. Selena's pulse quickened. This human had not only survived, they had earned respect that transcended species, strength, and tradition. Selena descended to the arena floor. The energy barriers bathed her and Ethan in soft light. You've done what no human, or any competitor, has done before, she said softly. You survived, outsmarted, and impressed every elite warrior here. You've earned their respect, and mine as well. Ethan, blooded and exhausted, smiled faintly. I didn't come here to impress anyone. I came to adapt, survive, and learn. Selena's eyes sparkled. You've done more than survive. You've redefined what courage, ingenuity, and humor mean. And, somehow, you've made even the galaxy's strongest fighters silent. Ethan chuckled. Humans are often underestimated. Selena's laugh was soft, genuine. Yes, but now I see why. You've turned the arena into your own canvas, and every move paints a story of resilience, heart, and honor. In the days following the trial, the elite champions treated Ethan as an equal, not as a human anomaly. Selena spent time with him, exchanging ideas, tactics, and quiet conversations, her admiration growing daily. The arena became a symbol of human ingenuity and spirit, inspiring other species to reconsider Earthlings. HFY was not theoretical, it was real. Humans had survived, endured, and triumphed where others expected failure. Ethan had achieved what no one thought possible. Changed the perception of humans in the galaxy. Earned the respect of elite alien fighters. Demonstrated humor, heart, and ingenuity under impossible pressure. Selena approached him in a quiet moment. I laughed at you at first, she admitted. I thought you fragile, amusing, unworthy, and yet you've changed everything I thought I knew. Ethan smiled. I guess humans are often underestimated. Selena's eyes softened. Yes, and you've reminded me why it's dangerous to underestimate anyone, especially humans. The arena was silent, save for the hum of energy fields and the soft whispers of spectators. The galaxy's strongest fighters, 5 elite champions, instructors, and ambassadors, watched in stunned amazement. Ethan Kane, human, had survived every challenge, outsmarted every opponent, and endured conditions no one expected a human to withstand. Selena Vey, standing atop the dais, finally allowed herself a smile. She had laughed at him on the first day. Now, she could only watch in admiration. You've done it, she said softly as she descended to the arena floor. Not just survived, but redefined what it means to be a fighter. The Apex warriors themselves are silent because of you. Ethan, bruised, blooded, yet steady, nodded. I just do what humans do. Adapt, endure, and, sometimes, improvise. Selena chuckled. And yet, it has been enough to make legends pause, to make champions reconsider, to make me reconsider. The Council of Champions stepped forward, their energy weapons lowered, their postures respectful. Tavrik, Lyra, Droke, Zyra, and Vorin each bowed slightly, not because they feared him, but because they recognized skill, ingenuity, and heart where strength alone could not prevail. We have trained and fought for centuries, Tavrik admitted, voice low. We have never seen a competitor, human or otherwise, survive with such ingenuity, courage, and resolve. You have our respect, Ethan Kane. Lyra added, your creativity and adaptability have surpassed our expectations. You have shown that intellect and determination are as formidable as any physical prowess. Drake grunted. Humans are often underestimated. You have proven why that is a grave mistake. The audience erupted, not in cheers alone, but in silent reverence for what humanity had achieved. HFY had been realized, a human altering the galaxy's perception through spirit, ingenuity, and resilience. After the formal recognition, Selena approached Ethan. The arena quieted. No one dared speak. This moment was theirs. I laughed at you, Selena admitted. I thought humans were fragile, amusing, incapable of greatness on this scale. I was wrong. You've shown courage, intelligence, humor, and honor. You survived, and you've earned something even more important, respect from everyone here. Ethan smiled faintly, exhaustion and satisfaction mingling in his expression. I didn't come here to impress anyone. I just did what humans do. Adapt, endure, survive. Selena's amber eyes softened. And yet, what you have done will be remembered. The galaxy's strongest fighters, the elite of their species, they've learned that humans are not what they expected. And I have learned the same. Ethan chuckled quietly. Humans are often underestimated. Selena laughed softly, her amusement tinged with admiration. Yes, but never again, I think. You've changed everything. In the days that followed, Ethan trained alongside the elite, now respected as an equal, not a curiosity. Selena spent time with him, exchanging tactics, strategies, and quiet conversation, their bond deepening through respect and admiration. Aliens from across the galaxy began to study human adaptability and ingenuity, inspired by what one human had accomplished. HFY was no longer just a story. It was manifest in the galaxy itself. Courage, humor, adaptability, and ingenuity had allowed a single human to redefine the expectations of countless species. Ethan stood in the quiet arena late one evening, Selena at his side. You've earned your place here, she said softly. And perhaps my trust, my curiosity, even my respect. He looked at her, a faint grin forming despite exhaustion. I guess humans are full of surprises. She smiled, and for the first time, the arena seemed to hold not just silent awe, but hope, admiration, and a recognition of human potential. The galaxy's strongest fighters had once expected dominance, power, and sheer physicality. They had witnessed it all and considered themselves unbeatable. Then came Ethan Kane, not the fastest, not the strongest, not the most physically imposing. Yet through courage, ingenuity, humor, and heart, he had forced legends to pause, reconsider, and respect. Selena, the alien princess who had once laughed at him, now stood with admiration, watching a human leave a permanent mark on the galaxy's perception of his species. HFY was not theoretical anymore. It was tangible, visible, and undeniable. Humans were underestimated at their peril. Humans could survive, adapt, and inspire. Humans could change a galaxy's expectations. And Ethan Kane had done it all with humor, heart, and human spirit. The arena, once a place of judgment and spectacle, now became a monument to the human potential that no species could ignore. Selena looked at him one last time that evening and said softly, I laughed at you until I saw the truth. Humans are stronger, smarter, and braver than I ever imagined. And you are extraordinary. Ethan chuckled. I just survived, and maybe taught a few lessons along the way. The galaxy watched in silence, not out of fear, but in awe of the human who had changed everything.